Hello and welcome to our webinar. My name is Mike Fazio and I work in marketing at DataCore software. Thanks for your time today. Over the next 20 minutes, I want to share with you how you can have a next generation data center using DataCore data infrastructure solutions. First, a couple of quick items. We have attachments with the webinar that might be interesting to you, and at the end I'll have some time for questions. I'll try to answer them live, or if they are a little over my technical grade, then I will definitely find some answers and get them back to you after the show. This is being recorded, so if you need to drop off and come back, just like all the rest of the Bright Talk webinars, you can find them on our Bright Talk channel. So to get started here, I want to tell you a little bit about DataCore. We are a worldwide company with many long-time customers and a very mature product offering. Our solutions revolve around software-defined storage and hyperconverged solutions utilizing storage virtualization and a technology we call parallel I/O, which I will explain a bit more about later. So you can see we have offices around the world. So to set up our discussion today, I want to give you a little bit of history on the world of data infrastructure. Back 20 years ago or so, we had local attached disks in all servers. That resulted in islands of storage and poor utilization. So moving forward, we found a way to move to shared storage with SAN and NAS arrays, which improved the total cost of ownership. But now those boxes, as they've been getting bigger and bigger, are also becoming a large part of the IT cost. Today, however, we're finding new and innovative types of storage being built to address some of those issues. We're seeing flash become viable in terms of cost and availability. We're seeing at the same time, the cost of rotating media continue to plummet. We're also find that we have an abundant CPU cycles in those servers, which are being served from our storage, so we can implement higher level functionality in software instead of firmware at the storage level. We're also seeing hyperconverged solutions that simplify the consumption of storage, and also we're seeing object storage and cloud economics significantly impact the overall cost of storage. However, you can see there are a number of challenges that come along with the current environment in the data infrastructure world. And I bet you've seen some of those challenges as well. So what I'd like to do is show you four key projects. You may see other projects, but these are sort of the four core that we see come up pretty often. And I want to talk through these projects and help you think through some of the hidden pitfalls to avoid. By the end of our time together, I hope to give you some ideas of solutions that will help you achieve success with your projects. Jumping into the first one, performance challenges. So when we look at this topic, being a hot topic in the being a hot topic in the storage industry, it's important because server virtualization continues to change the way that we structure our IT infrastructure, but it also places increasingly higher demands on storage, which leads to unintended consequences that can result in some big performance issues. The issues are further exacerbated by the widening gap between compute and I/O. What I mean is, with multi-core processors, they have the potential to do more compute work across separate virtual machines than the serial I/O is able to process on a single CPU. In other words, serial I/O limits the potential work that multi-core CPUs can accomplish, and that gap is widening. The physical machine can't get enough input and output to keep all those processors busy computing. So CPUs go idle, and we are forced to spread the work over more underutilized servers. You also see here some results of surveys where you can tangibly tell the impact, the negative impact that virtualization has had on storage. So one way that the storage industry is trying to fix the I/O problem is with flash. And while flash is good and flash is fast, it's not the cure-all that we've hoped for. In fact, about 1 in 6 companies reported that flash didn't really help. Also, while flash prices are coming down, we know that using flash for cold and frequently accessed data is a waste of valuable resources, and the time and effort required to manually provision different tiers and different types of storage for individual applications is more work than you have time for. You see in the graph of the frequency of data access declining over time. New data is frequently accessed, and then obviously the longer the data has been sitting, the less frequently accessed it becomes, and now is more of a legacy issue that can quickly take up those flash resources that you're paying top dollar for. So let's put performance on hold for a minute and jump into keeping our businesses running. You know that downtime, planned or unplanned, happens, and when it does, it can be devastating, to the tune of $400 or more lost per minute. It is also personally stressful for you and your IT teams who have to work late nights and weekends trying to get the environment back online. We have to look hard into ways to keep the business running during routine maintenance cycles or when the unexpected occurs. The next hurdle to address is the explosive growth of data. Some people think that you should never delete data. If that's true, and you combine that rule with the amount of new data created every day, and the fact that storage budgets are only growing 1% to 2% a year, you have a problem. You then need to ask yourself, how do I get my storage to be more efficient and more cost effective? And finally, as you grow your storage systems in storage environment, and you try to utilize the latest and greatest hardware technology, you can end up with a mess of vendors, devices, and silos of wasted potential. As you can see, many companies have a diverse mix of storage arrays and don't have the time, resources, or people power to manage the growing complexity. On top of that, how can you achieve your goals of performance and avoiding downtime if vendor A and vendor B only offer small parts of your needed solutions and they don't play nicely together? Before we move forward into how to fix this, let's take a second to recap the challenges that we've uncovered waiting for you when you embark on your projects. The projects of increasing application performance, assuring business continuity and disaster recovery, expanding storage, and refreshing and managing the storage you have. Now let's turn to how DataCore can help you address these problems. So first, an overview of the DataCore deployment alternatives that may fit, that are available to fit your unique IT environment. Our two unique solutions, the DataCore Hyperconverged Virtual SAN and our SAN Symphony software-defined storage platform, both have a varied array of use cases available. So the DataCore Hyperconverged Virtual SAN is our hyperconverged cluster, or hyperconverged solutions. The DataCore software-defined storage platform allows a greater mix of both converged server SAN, so more of a hyperconverged, almost a hybrid converged, some have been calling it, with some greater set of set of potential, and then also the virtualized storage server, which is available for the more robust, more diverse IT infrastructures. So stepping back, do you remember the siloed storage we looked at earlier? Let's take a look at what happens when you add DataCore into the environment. Instead of silos of storage devices, you have a way to take that siloed capacity and pool it all together. Also, you now have a suite of data infrastructure services that are independent of the underlying hardware. This means that solutions like replication can be offered across different devices from different vendors. Adding DataCore also allows you to leverage the latest software solutions without waiting for hardware vendors to catch up and possibly update the software on their hardware systems. For example, when VMware introduced vVols, your hardware might not be compatible, and even if some hardware vendors catch up, some may not add that support to older hardware. With DataCore, we are able to make your whole environment compatible with vVols with one update to our software. We also allow you to manage your increasingly complex storage environment with a single pane, which allows you to do more with less people. As you can see, there's a full, robust set of storage services in each area for all of your storage devices. In these areas, we've broken up into these categories: performance, availability, efficiency, and management. Now, a little more about the unique abilities of DataCore. When we talk about the fastest response time and lowest TCO, or total cost of ownership, these results came from independently verified Storage Performance Council results. Basically, we set up a test with the storage performance software that measures the amount of IOs running through the system. More information on this can be found at datacore.com/SPC for a lot more details on our SPC results. What I want to show you here, though, is the latency, which is probably, well, it's one of the many amazing results that we had from this. But really, the latency is interesting if we look at our solution at $38,000 setup, having a latency of 0.3 milliseconds, compared to Dell having almost 5 milliseconds, and then as the cost starts increasing, you're still up around 1 millisecond. Even in huge expensive software boxes, we've noticed the same results. And again, you'll see those results more on datacore.com/SPC. What this means for you, of course, is that the response time that your critical applications, such as database, for example, that response back and forth is critical to keeping those customers happy, those storage customers happy. So the question is, well, how do we do this, right? I mean, that's what everybody kind of looks at and says, okay, well, that's cool, but what magic did you use? Well, the magic that we used is what we call parallel I/O, adaptive parallel I/O technology. So this this first diagram or animation is showing the typical way that I/Os are processed, which is sequentially or serially. Each compute worker is ready has done their process and is now ready for the I/O. Well, typically in the Hi, I'm back. I don't know what happened there. Lost my connection to audio, and I'm not sure when that happened. Um, so I'll start at the beginning of this slide again. This is a slide showing our DataCore adaptive parallel I/O technology. This first animation is showing how I/Os are typically processed in a storage system without parallel I/O. So as the I/Os are ready by the compute layer, the I/O worker has to go through sequentially, serially, getting that I/O, delivering it down, which causes the normal slowdowns that you would expect to see in your storage environment. However, adding DataCore, adaptive parallel I/O, we allow these I/Os to be processed in parallel. As you can just tell from the two animations side by side, that leads to an incredible amount of performance increase. We like to say that 2 nodes can do the work of 10. Now, don't get tied up in the 2-node number, as DataCore can easily scale out to 64 nodes or even more, depending on what you're needing to do. But the comparison is 2 to 10 is a huge savings and efficiency gains. Moving on to our disaster recovery solutions. So the most important thing with disaster recovery is to make sure that you don't have a disaster in the first place. So our synchronous mirroring provides resiliency against outages, but also provides flexibility during maintenance to avoid the typical planned downtime scenarios. The result is 0 interruption for applications due to storage-related downtime. So these synchronous mirrors can be deployed either side by side in a data center or in a metro cluster spanning up to 100 kilometers. Deploying the metro clusters drastically increases survivability in the event of a regional disaster. When extra protection is needed, asynchronous replication can be added for even greater distances beyond 100 kilometers. This is also a true active-active failover scenario, where one side gets cut, the other side continues up without disruption to the servers and clients above. The other interesting thing to note here is that this is a completely automated failover and failback solution. DataCore knows when the connection to the servers has been cut, and will fail over to the working environment. Once you get into and have fixed the issue on the downside, the system will then seamlessly fail back without you needing to interfere and without affecting and the servers or the business. You can also see here how we can either you can set up your synchronous mirrors in different rooms, different buildings, different cities, and also have on premises or even backed up to a cloud solution. The next thing to look at is with DataCore, you can start with one small use case and then grow your storage footprint to cover all your use cases. Or if you have a large use case to begin with, you can combine it all into one enterprise-wide solution that's integrated and centrally managed. Everything from a hyperconverged cluster to your mainstream IT services to remote office, branch office, and disaster recovery sites can all be managed within that single DataCore management console. Okay, So that sounds great, but does anybody use it? And what what has happened? So here's a case study from a hosting company. Obviously, hosting companies have a unique set of challenges, just like everyone else. When they added the DataCore solution to in a 4-node converged server SAN, they had very impressive results. And those benefits that they've realized are the same benefits that many of our customers realize when switching to DataCore. And I'll show you next another solution that was offered and how we were different. So here's a side-by-side comparison with an offer from a Tier 1 storage vendor versus the solution that we were able to offer, and the solution that eventually the customer did go with. So just the specs of the end result solution is significantly better and at a cheaper cost, right? So faster, smaller, and cheaper with more capacity. So you know the old adage of you can only have two things, two out of the three options. You can have it faster, cheaper, or you can have something fast, cheap, or good, right? But you can only pick two, right? In this case, you can have all three. And now I want to tie this back to our original set of projects here and tie that to some real results from DataCore customers captured in surveys run by TechValidate. These are all numbers that our customers have realized after switching to DataCore, and are pretty impressive from the standpoint of what the other offerings in storage only or hardware only solutions. Now, before I move on to next steps, I'll take a minute to see if anyone has a question. If you do, please use the little question box here in BrightTalk. And if you don't, you can always go to datacore.com to find more information here. Go ahead and leave up our contact us information on the screen here. You can always call, send an email. If you've seen enough and you want to actually see this the software in action with a technical consultant who can really dig down into the details for you and show you exactly what's going on, you see the link here, info.datacore.com/live demo. If you don't remember that and you go to our website, you can schedule a 15-minute live demo on the bottom of the home page. So datacore.com, scroll to the bottom, and there's a live demo there. Or again, please feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email, and we would be glad to get back to you. Again, there are attachments and some links on attached to the webinar here, and ready for you to go there. All right, well, thanks for your time. I appreciate it, and have a great rest of your day.